Cold open today for the All We Do Is Talk podcast. How we doing, everyone? Here to talk top 10 linebackers today. Here with Moody and Isaiah like usual. How we doing today, guys?
Good. How you doing today, guys?
These are the running backs of defense, but can still be very important when used the right way. Nothing wrong with having an elite top 10 player at the position.
Yeah, when I went over this list, that's what I learned. It's like they're elite guys, there are a couple good guys, and then linebackers. They're being replaced by DBs. That's just that simple. So who wants to go ahead?
Eric? Tackles in 2022.
Good. All right, Eric, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I didn't have any honorable mentions for this one. So number 10, I got Devondre Campbell. Had a great all pro last year, second team. Yeah.
Green Bay had two random all pro players on their defense that weren't the first rounders.
And then I have Matt Malone from Buffalo. Number 8, I got Devin White. I actually got a combo of how many teams? One, maybe two. 8, I got Devin White.
Good.
Number 7, I got Bobby Wagner. And number 6, I got Levante David.
Oh, okay.
David ahead of White. I can at least appreciate that. All right, I'll go ahead next. I have Matt Milano as my honorable mention, just so we can keep the theme going. He's within the top 11 or 12 linebackers in the league. At number 10, I got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Notre Dame boy, versatile safety linebacker hybrid. He really came on last year before dealing with some injuries. Great in coverage, solid open field tackler. Could improve a little bit in that area, but he gets bigger and stronger. But overall, just a really, really good player who I expect to be really, really good for a long time. At number 9, I got Roquan Smith. As the Bears defense has deteriorated, so has his overall production, but he still had 160 tackles last year, one of the lowest missed tackle rates in the league. Really, really good in coverage, a little undersized, which probably causes him to be not as good in run defense, but pass coverage is more important in today's NFL anyway. And that leads me to number 8, Devondre Campbell, who had one of the best coverage linebacker seasons you'll see, 146 tackles. He was making plays all over the ball. Hopefully he's had a one-year wonder for Green Bay, although I wouldn't be mad at it. And Levante David, one of the veterans of the game, great coverage guy, great leader for the Tampa Bay defense, and far, far better than Devin White. And at number 6, I got Demario Davis, leader of the best run defense of the last 5 years. Saints pulled him out of nowhere and have made him one of the premier all-pro tackle, and he's been that way ever since he showed up. So to go back to it again, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Roquan Smith, Devondre Campbell, Levante David, and Demario Davis.
Yeah, so this is another list that I see us having a consensus top 12 players in it. So I'll just go ahead, Matt Milano and Logan Wilson from another Cincinnati Bengal player from that defense that took him to the Super Bowl. Those are my 2 honorable mentions. Milano is what he is. Leaves a lot. He's not crazy physical, but he's consistent. Good and better in coverage than he is against the run. And same could be said about Logan Wilson. He's a little bit better against the run. He got caught guarding Cooper Kupp on the final drive. Something was going on with Cincinnati right there in those last few moments of the Super Bowl. They just decided to go crazy in the last 5 minutes with the coaching decisions. But starting my list at 10, like Eric, I have Devondre Campbell.
Devondre.
Where did he come from? He came from Atlanta. Was misused in Atlanta, in my opinion, I believe. Got to Green Bay and broke out and had an all-pro season. One of the craziest breakouts probably I've seen since Payne Hillis, a guy that was a good player all of a sudden is a guy who was an average player all of a sudden was an all-pro player. That rarely happens. We'll see if he keeps it up. I gave him his credit, though, for a great season. At number 9, I have Micah Parsons, which means he was on my edge list and my linebacker list, which just goes to show how high I believe in this guy's football ability. I think he's a way better edge rusher. I think he's a better edge rusher than linebacker, but he still does the blitzing from the linebacker spot, running and run fits really well, and can cover some receivers if you check the tape. Great player, better edge player, but still an elite linebacker from day one. Cowboys walk away with a blessing, and fuck them because they gave the Eagles Devontae Smith, so the Giants were the only team that didn't get what they wanted in that draft. At number 8, I have Devin White. I think he's become underrated now. One of the best see-ball, hit-ball linebackers, explosive speed, sideline to sideline range. He's gonna lead. He leads the Tampa Bay Bucks in tackles for the most part, playing next to an elite linebacker. Still a great player. Still not great in coverage, but classic see-ball, hit-ball linebacker. Probably would fit better in a 3-4 scheme where he does. I mean, but it'd be interesting to see how he does in a 4-3 if he ever got that chance. At number 7, I have his draft classmate, Roquan Smith. Like Moody said, his production has fallen off as the talent around him has fallen off, but the talent around him has fallen off immensely. I still think he's a great player. I don't think he has a future in Chicago, clearly, based on the things we've seen, but he'll be playing on a contract. I'm sure he'll have a great season this year, and he'll get a bag from somebody. At number 6, I have Demario Davis, another guy like Devontae Campbell, who was a good player on other teams, came to the Saints, became an all-pro player. So if Devontae Campbell wants to follow that career trajectory, that's a good guy to follow. But Demario Davis was good on the Jets. I can't recall if he played on the Ravens, but definitely played on the Jets. Good player on the Jets, has led the Saints defense in that front seven that has so many players that we've talked about already, and a good back coverage unit. So, I mean, he plays in a good defense. They give Tom Brady fits. Love to see it. So I guess that rounds out my 10 through 6. Campbell, Parsons, Devin White, Roquan Smith, Demario Davis.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I would say is I didn't put Micah Parsons on this list because I had him on the edge. So I only thought of him for one list. I didn't even think about him for this one.
Yeah, Micah's already a better linebacker than Devin White. We don't have to push him down just because we know he's dominant at edge. He's already better at linebacker stuff than Devin White too.
Yes, 1 year. Devin White is still a great player, and a lot of people would like Devin White would take Devin White on their team. But you could go ahead, Eric, with your top 5.
All right, number 5, I got Roquan Smith. It's going to be interesting how he tries to set the market for linebackers representing himself. I think that's a really good storyline to follow. Number 4, I got Demario Davis. Number 3, I got Eric Kendricks. If you break a Aaron Rodgers collarbone, you're a good linebacker. Number 2,
or his coverage ability, tackling ability. But no,
Isaiah, he got Aaron Rodgers up out of there. That's why you love your boy Jordan Hicks, right? Because he got Tony up out of there.
And then number 2, I got Shaquille Leonard. Right? That how do you say it pronounced?
Apparently his name's Shaquille, but everybody calls him Darius. I don't know where the name switches.
Darius too.
He said, "Stop calling me that." He's Shaquille now.
Okay, Shaquille Leonard in Indianapolis. I think he is what makes the Indianapolis defense what it is, being the leader in the middle of that defense. And then number 1, Fred Warner. He is a monster in San Francisco. He is a beast.
That's simple.
I feel like the top 4 names are going to be consensus, just in different orders. But I definitely very, very much agree with the list so far. For me, at number 5, I got Bobby Wagner. He's old and he's declining, but he still gets the job done. And I think that like Von Miller with the Rams, he's going to be revitalized because Aaron Donald's going to be in front of him. You can't get your guards up to the next level to go block Bobby Wagner, and that's going to end up with him making lots of tackles. At number 4, I got Eric Kendricks, probably the second best coverage linebacker in the league behind Fred Warner. He does a lot of versatile things for the Minnesota defense, just slightly outside of the elite tier 1 guys. At number 3, I got Darius Leonard. No one makes more plays on the football than Darius Leonard in the NFL. He had 8 pass breakups, 8 forced fumbles, 5 interceptions to go along with 130 tackles. He just gets the job done all over the field. He's fantastic. At number 2, I got Fred Warner, the best coverage linebacker in the league. His numbers dropped off a little bit last year from his normal, extremely high production in terms of like his completion percentage against and stuff like that. But we know when Fred Warner's on the field, he's getting those guys together and he's making plays. And then number 1, I have Micah Parsons. He's the best player who plays linebacker in the NFL, and that's why he gets the number 1 spot.
Attaboy. I mean, I love it. I mean, he's definitely an elite guy. So like he plays both positions, so he deserves to be on the list. Now that I think about it, he would definitely be on my list, but I don't know what else to think with my list. So I had him at edge. Like I can't have him at 2 positions.
Moody didn't have him on his edge list.
Some on my edge list. So I just let him have 1 spot. You had to earn the Khalil Mack All Pro at 2 position stats.
So who's the biggest fan here if he's on both of my lists? That's all I gotta say. But I'm gonna go ahead and knock out my top 5. a lot of the same usual suspects. I've got Levante David, probably the most underrated player of this generation. Tom Brady showed up to Tampa Bay and made a lot of underrated players well known now. So, I mean, big ups to Tom Brady for getting the job done. I guess that's what he brings with him, clout. And number 4, I got Bobby Wagner, old, falling off, but he's going to play with Aaron Donald in front of him, with Jalen Ramsey behind him. He's going to be the 3rd most impactful player that's going to the Hall of Fame on his defense. That screams he's going to have a big season, in my opinion, just off of being there. And the number 3, I'm going to go with Eric Kendricks, the best all-around linebacker versus the run, versus the pass. I think he's the best all-around, great athlete. Just don't think he gives you the high-end splash abilities that the 2 guys in front of him have. And number 2, I'm going to go with Fred Warner. Like y'all said, the best coverage linebacker. I'm pretty sure he's a former safety turned linebacker. He's the best coverage linebacker in the league. People have just stopped throwing the ball towards him. So, I mean, he gets respect like he's a DB. And at number 1, I'm going to go with Darius Leonard, Shaq Leonard.
Shaquille Leonard.
Apparently,
You said Darius too.
Darius Leonard wasn't getting enough clout, so he changed his name. I guess he's gonna make more plays which in the Shaq Leonard persona. But I mean, no one makes more big time game winning plays at the linebacker position, in my opinion, than Darius Leonard. Moody listed off his stats. A lot of those interceptions come in the 4th quarter or when they're down and needing them the most. I mean, that's when you need a big play. I mean, that you go to Shaq Leonard. The name thing will work that out later. But yeah, that'll round out my top 5. Levante David, Bobby Wagner, some old heads, Kendricks, Warner, and Leonard, some guys who are in their prime.
Yeah, I mean, we had a pretty consensus top 11, 10. So let's move on to breakout and rookie. My breakout was on Moody's list. It's JOK, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I have watched him for years before he was in the NFL. He was great, not as explosive, or he had the athleticism of like a Jalen Smith when he was at Notre Dame, but like way more rangy and a definite bigger blend of it all. And then rookie, I have Nakobe Dean. I find myself going through these lists, and I just find myself picking Georgia guys every single time.
Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis in Philly. It's just disappointing. It's disappointing. For me, my breakout's going to be someone who was on Isaiah's list, Mr. Honorable Mentions list, Mr. Logan Wilson. It's unfortunate that he got caught guarding Cooper Kupp with the Super Bowl on the line. You hate to see it, but Cooper Kupp was guarded by more linebackers than any receiver ever. Shout out to Sean McVay getting the job done there. But he's a really, really good rangy linebacker, really smart. Think he's solid in the coverage too. Just gotta not be grabby when the Super Bowl's on the line. And best rookie for me will be Mr. Malcolm Rodriguez from the Detroit Lions. Love him as a run-hit type of tackler. I think the Cowboys were hugely interested in him in the draft. Now he's going to be behind a decent front in Detroit, and you know Dan Campbell's going to have those guys revved up and ready to go. As a run-hit linebacker, I think he'll be as good as it gets from this rookie class, Malcolm Rodriguez.
Yeah, I watched him him at Oklahoma State, played Notre Dame in the bowl game right before the draft, and he definitely stood out in that defense. So I definitely think he'll be good.
Yeah, so for my breakout, I had 2 names because I knew I wasn't going to get JOK out before you 2 guys. So everybody said it. JOK will probably be on the list, barring any injury problems. Apparently, he has some shot knees, they say. We'll see how that works out. But I'm going to go with a guy that I think is easily going to break into this list. I'm going to go with Mr. Jordan Brooks from the Seattle Seahawks. He took Bobby Wagner's job. It's that simple. I believe he's going to have a breakout year, and he's going to stop that trend of bad first-round picks that the Seahawks have had the last few years. Hopefully him and Rashad Penny could help Pete Carroll revitalize that team. And my rookie is simple. I have written down here another Georgia Bulldog player. Quay Walker is Fred Warner 2.0. It's that simple. I think he's the better of the 2 Georgia linebackers. I think he's more athletic. I think he has more potential, and he's going to go play in Green Bay with some better defensive coaching, in my opinion. We'll see about the front 7 players. I think Green Bay does have a good front 7. It's guys like Kenny Clark to take up.
They got Wyatt too. They double dipped in the Georgia linebacker D tackle group too. They double dipped.
So they did the same thing as Philly, and then they got Devontae Campbell and Kenny Clark. So That's a really good front seven. All the players from Georgia are going to, I guess all those players from Georgia will always be in good front sevens for the rest of their lives, I guess, at this rate. But yeah, I got Quay Walker. I think he's going to be a great.
Well, I think that's a wrap, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Show these linebackers some love. These guys are taking PTE to make sure your DBs don't have to make a bunch of tackles that are running backs of defenses. They deserve their respect where it's due. Let's give the linebackers some love, fellas.
All right, we'll catch y'all next time. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, interact, all of the above. It's that simple. I'll catch y'all later.